developed Music LM, that is an AI that can generate musical pieces from text prompts.
Google scrambled to counter ChatGPT and they ended up embarrassing themselves.
Which is right next to the ocean, which led to a lot of mushrooms setting inside of the tanks, inside of the rockets, so they had to scrape it.
Hi, and welcome to episode 50 of the Tech Review, where we bring you all the latest and greatest, or sometimes not so great news about the tech world. Join us as we dive into the deepest depth of innovation, social media, and the ever-evolving world of technology. So sit back, relax, and listen to our favorite articles of the week. On camera 3 today, we have a very well-suited Vincent. On camera 2, we have Henrike, also, of course, as always, very well-suited. Do you say well-suited? And this is me in my simple t-shirt. Hi, I'm Tarek. Tech Review is a collaboration of Ideas Engineering, Free Tech Academy, and Upday. You will find all the episodes on YouTube to watch or listen to us on all major podcast platforms such as Spotify and Apple Podcast while you work out, drive, or maybe even travel through space. So, what happened this week? Let's start with Henrike.
Oh, nice. And also, by the way, you always look very well dressed, Tarek.
Well dressed, yeah, that's
well
better.
Suited.
Right.
Well
suited. Yeah, when I said it, I wasn't sure. I just saw Vincent and I saw his suit and I just thought like suited.
Perfectly makes sense, yeah. Alrighty. I have an article from The Bird today. That's the
this one, right?
first one. Yes. Yeah, after I always bring those AI art discussions here, today we can discuss AR and music. Nicht AR, AI. Sorry. Because Google has developed Music LM, that is an AI that can generate musical pieces from text prompts and transform them even to hummed or whistled melodies or into other instruments. So, I mean, just basically like DALL-E and Midjourney for pictures. We all know these tools. Music LM can generate 30-second snippets of actual songs from long descriptions and you can dictate a specific genre, vibe, instrument that should be used. And as I already said, even mimic human vocals. They are already aware of the potential risk of plagiarism and cultural appropriation, and therefore they have no plans to release Music LM for the public. But they are releasing a data set of 5,500 music text pairs to help train and evaluate other musical AI systems. There's a link somewhere in the article to this data set so that you can listen to it. And on this demo site are examples, for example, 10-second clips of specific instruments, or 5-second or 8-second clips of a certain genre for a certain situation. One that is quite interesting is music that would fit a prison escape. So if you ever wondered how that sounds like, there's an example in there. And also stuff like, how does someone sound like if you're a beginner or an advanced person playing a specific instrument? So like 5,500 different kinds of examples. The article says that the tool outperforms other systems in terms of quality and also adherence to the prompt. And you can even take in audio, like record audio, and then copy the melody. And since I know, Tarek, that you also played around with AI-generated music, I thought this is your topic. And I don't know, maybe we can have a listen to some of the examples on the site if you find the link in there. Or maybe you can at least share your experience with the tools that you worked with.
Let's see if you can hear this. There's something we can listen to.
If you cannot find it in the article.
Okay, so my description of it is it's like electronic music, and it sounds like music, but it sounds like, let's say, I don't want to be mean or something. It sounds like cheap stock music, like what you get for free if you go to one of these stock music sites. So I mean, this is only one example that I just clicked. I don't want to say that everything that they create is sounding bad, but I mean, it's very interesting that you can use a text prompt as we do with AI art or with ChatGPT to generate something from scratch. And it is already valuable, because if you then already have the rights to use this commercially, then you have something in your hand that you didn't have before. In terms of quality, of course, it's a question of taste. And I think over time they will create this in a more powerful way. Right now, it sounds like one of these MIDI sounds. Yeah, so these very low tuned electronic sounds, but I could imagine that at some point of time they are going to generate guitar and keyboard and everything that you can probably just order, like an orchestral music piece for a movie, right?
Yeah, but I mean, what you're listening to right now is supposed to be, for the first 15 seconds, an electronic song played in a video game. You feel like this is how it sounds like?
Right.
Then for the next 15 seconds, it's a meditation song played next to a river.
Okay.
Then fire and then fireworks. Do you feel that?
Okay, yeah. So it is a little bit different. The other pieces of this music, and yes, you can hear the different flavors of it. So it feels like a little bit more relaxing or in a different mood. But from the quality, it sounds very similar.
Why would Google do that though? So as far as I understand, sure, it is its journey to develop a more comprehensive AI, and therefore obviously it also needs the capability to understand music, right? To analyze music, and then therefore also to play back music to you. I find it very interesting that they release stuff like that for free. I would have thought that Google would take this as very nice findings, understand that there is not a direct business case due to the limitations of copyright infringement, and then take it to develop something even greater, say the Google Assistant, where this could play a role when asked. Therefore, I find it surprising that Google is developing that, and I'm pretty sure that there's definitely more than a 10-people team on this. So we're talking about how many millions invest just in FTEs, and then still in releasing it for free. Doesn't feel right with me, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think on the one hand, Google currently has an image problem, because they are losing heavily ground in the race with OpenAI and Microsoft with generative AI, and so they still want to play in this game, and so they have to release something. And in regards of the research, I think everything that they can do with generative AI, they will try to achieve, even if it's not possible to commercialize this specific use case because of copyrights. I think it's still a lot of stuff to learn in there, and therefore they are playing around with it. They have a division in there, and at some point of time, I could imagine that they can utilize this maybe in a B2B setting. So someone owning copyrights of certain music with a large library can use this generative AI to train this on their own music, and then use it to create new original music based on everything that they created beforehand as original art, and therefore maybe create like their own generative music without violating any copyrights, because it's their copyright. So I could imagine that this might be something like Hans Zimmer. He composed a lot of stuff, and if he trains the generative AI on everything that he composed in the past, he can like automatically with one click of the mouse, or like writing a prompt, he can create original music for the next 100 movies or something like that. Okay.
But from the quality it's difficult to compare it to the tools that you worked with, because you cannot work with this tool. You can only listen to the results. But maybe if you look into I think it was a GitHub link that I just shared with you, and you can share maybe in another episode, how if it's really like better quality wise, or I don't know. It's just what they state.
Yeah, but you're right. So when I click through these examples, they are a little bit more complex. They have more instruments, and so what I said earlier with it sounds like MIDI sound. It's not everything, right? So there are more complex tunes in there. What do I see here? Like, yeah, but it is everything sounds very electronic. So everything sounds basic. It does not really sound like a real orchestra, for example. And I think this is probably, as you see with the first versions of DALL-E, in the first iteration, it was interesting that it was generating images, but they did not really look good. And so the impressive part was when it was trained on so much data that it actually looked like original masterpieces of the artist. And I could imagine that with the audio, it's the same. So right now we are impressed that it can do something, but if you train it with, I don't know, all music pieces of the last 100 years, then you will probably be able to generate something that really sounds like an original Beethoven or something, right? Because it knows everything from him.
Yeah, so let's wait a few months, and then probably there will be another article that we can discuss that's already more advanced.
Exactly. And we never know if they maybe change their course because they say, okay, we won't be able to get a hold on the ChatGPT thing and the generative search, for example, and then they say, okay, let's pivot and let's conquer this other market that is not taken yet. If our tech review is valuable for you, please give us feedback with a like or a comment. That would help us tremendously and it wouldn't cost you anything. And if you don't want to miss the next episode, just click on the subscribe button. And now, back to the news.
And now, this.
Let's continue with me. Let's talk about Google.
Wait. I mean, come on. Last time we both had space articles and we didn't talk upfront about it. And now we both bring Google. We're so in sync, Tarek.
Right now, Google is making a lot of headlines, especially because of this AI race. And that's why I'm bringing here this article from Ars Technica again. And here it says, in their Paris demo, this week or last week, depending on when you listen to this podcast episode, Google scrambled to counter ChatGPT and they ended up embarrassing themselves. And this is what you need to know about this event. So Google held this exciting press conference from Paris where they showcased some of their latest cutting-edge technologies that everyone is talking about right now. And the presentation included an AI-powered visual search feature and a 3D fly-through feature for Google Maps and a new version of Google Translate and more. So a lot of really, really interesting things. But the highlight of the show was the demonstration of their multisearch, which lets users search by taking a picture and describing what they are looking for. And this demo took a very funny turn, and this is why probably everyone is talking about. They had a missing phone. They wanted to show like one of the features, and the speaker stood on the stage, and she was asking, "Yeah, I would like to show it to you, but the phone is missing." Yeah, and earlier this week they revealed their new conversational AI model Bard, which is supposed to be like the ChatGPT killer because it's in the same category of ChatGPT, and this one is going to be included in Bing, in the Bing search. And although the public launch of Bard has yet to come, the company is getting already a lot of feedback from trusted testers to make sure that they meet their high standards. But Google overall is struggling very hard right now to compete with Microsoft and their partner OpenAI because their application is so powerful. And a few days before, you might have read this already, there was an error found in Google's advertising for this Bard system. They gave the prompt to this Bard system and they asked, what new discoveries from the James Webb Space Telescope can I tell my 9-year-old about? And one of Bart's responses suggested that the JWST took the first pictures of exoplanets outside of Earth's solar system. And shortly after, people discovered that that's not true. This information is incorrect, as the first pictures of exoplanets were taken by the European Southern Observatory's Very Large Telescope in 2004. So this was very, very painful because Google was trying to show off that their BART system is as powerful as ChatGPT, and in their advertisement, it was telling wrong things. And on the one hand, this is of course a very unfair comparison because we all know that ChatGPT also gives out false information. It's a chatbot, and it sounds very confident, and sometimes the information is not correct because it's just information aggregated from somewhere. It's not always factually correct. And so BART is practically doing the same thing. But the embarrassing part here is that Microsoft released this as an advertisement. So it was proofread and checked, and nobody found out that this is something that is not correct, right? And so Google really struggles to maintain their image of the market leader in search and AI technologies. And right now they are really falling behind. And so that's why I said before with generative AI in music, this might be something like a fallback strategy because this is a market where they don't have the competition yet.
Yeah, true. I like that you bring the article because I read about the press conference the day before it happened, but then I didn't follow up.
Yeah.
So interesting to hear what happened then. And also, I mean, in the end, it's just with the advertisement example. I mean, even the human factor. I mean, you know, we make mistakes. The AI makes mistakes. In the end, it's,
right.
We're all human. I don't know if that's now the conclusion that I want to draw, but yeah, sorry for Google.
You, I, Bart, and ChatGPT. We are all just humans. Yeah, but let's see. So,
as you know, I'm.
Please go ahead.
No, you go.
No,
ahead.
I was just like throwing in some stuff.
No, I just wanted to say, as you know, I find this quite good that Google currently is. I think it is for the better that Google is not also monopolizing this market. I think of course, as we all know, competition is great, but then on the other hand, I also think that specifically Google, in my opinion, as you know, treats data privacy not with the respect it probably should. And also when we look at our business at Axel Springer, we see that Google definitely is not the biggest friend of ours. And when you see how Google's new AI scrolls through articles and gives you, without you clicking on an article, the information you need that you asked in the Google search bar, this definitely will tear down a lot of publishers that are advertising monetization based, such as the company I work for. So I think right now ChatGPT and specifically OpenAI with Microsoft are the better partner. Of course, this might change. I mean, we saw Bing now being connected to OpenAI's AI, and now you can do a lot with it. I can only encourage everybody to download the Bing app or go to bing.com and check them out for themselves, because it's quite interesting what they did there.
Something that I never expected to hear from someone to say. I recommend you to download the Bing app and try it.
Or go to bing.com.
It's true.
Yeah, check it out, because it is interesting what they did there. And I think it's a very basic and fundamental implementation of a AI chatbot in a search engine. And we will see how this is much more sophisticated, how this will be much more sophisticated. And I think Google's approach on this is specifically much more sophisticated. But we see that Google made a few mistakes there with the direction they develop in, right? That's the torch of the first, and now we'll see how Bing will counter that. But to me, right now, just as I said before, I like that this is going this way, because we see that Google is not very friendly in this development when it comes to content providers.
Yeah. Okay.
And now, this.
Let's continue with
I have a few articles in the pipeline here, but I have one I really want to open, and it is not that one.
No.
Not that one.
No.
This one. Yes, please, this one.
I see the word Mars.
Yes, guys. I thought I'm going to do it the other way around. You talk about consumer electronics, and I talk about space and Elon Musk today, because I read an article on the information, this is actually a different discussion that we probably should have right after, because, and I would love to hear the audience opinion about this as well, because I started to bring a lot of paywall articles, because I'm a big The Information fan and reader, and I started to bring a lot of information articles, but all of them are behind the paywall. So maybe something to discuss in a different meeting or somewhere. We need to understand if this is the right way that we bring articles that are behind the paywall. But let's jump into the article, and it is about Elon Musk and Mars, and specifically their rocket. And this rocket, you can see right there, was released in, as the thing, I think, nearly to upgrade space travel by nearly times 10, or 10x in many ways, because it is much more able to travel through space, and not only our orbit. It can deliver not between 40 to 60 like the Falcon rockets. It can deliver up to 100 and ultimately up to 400 satellites at once, something that is very important for Starlink. But even better, it cannot transport 7 like the Falcon rockets. It can transport up to 100 people at once. And this rocket actually is one of the big reasons why they closed a huge contract with NASA, around $3 billion, with the promise to land people on Moon in 2026. Now, SpaceX is facing many challenges, and they are due to very, very faulty, this is what the article says, planning on SpaceX side. So one of the most prominent things that happened were that they built the first prototype, the first supposed to be working and testing prototype of this rocket right at the launch site, which is right next to the ocean, which led to a lot of mushrooms and a lot of things that come with heavy weather at the coast, setting inside of the tanks, inside of the rocket, so they had to scrape it. And that's not the only thing that happened. They are developing many of parts of the rocket over and over and over again, because of the times this rocket is being developed. They changed the design up to 10 times of every single thing. That, for example, led to the problem that they, for investors, very important, Starlink version 2 satellites now are being developed in 2 streams, in the version 2 stream and in the version 2 Lite stream, because this rocket is not ready to deliver the version 2 satellites into space that make the partnership with T-Mobile possible. Another contract they closed to actually start mid this year. So now they have to deliver version 2 Lite satellites that are not closely as performant as the version 2 satellites, but these are the only satellites from the version 2 line that can be delivered not with this rocket, with spaceship, but they can be delivered via the Falcon rockets. So there are so many small obstacles that seem not very big, but this leads to now heavy questioning within the SpaceX team, because it does not look like spaceship actually is being built. Last sentence, Elon Musk promised to build at least 1 rocket per week. And now Elon Musk tweeted that he is expecting that up to 5 of those rockets will be built in the whole year 2023. And we know how exaggerating he can be. So the big question is actually one of those spaceships finally being built in this year. I don't believe it.
Yeah, let that sink in.
Elon.
I always wanted to do this in the tech review.
You said that these questions arise within the SpaceX team, so they internally doubt whether, also doubt whether or not they will, manage to build one of the rockets until the end of the year, basically.
Yeah, so deeper down in the article, specifically to talk about the fact that currently all engineering teams have to work around 6 days a week with an average of 12-hour shifts, which that alone might not be the right approach to a healthy employee-employer relationship. But besides that, they talk about a specific change they made to the rocket, which led to the teams working day and night to fix that. And when the fix was there, then they were talking about a specific hatch that is necessary to release the satellites into space, into orbit. And that specific change, they worked day and night in order to make it happen. And then the design of the rocket changed, and the fix was irrelevant, and there was the need for a new fix. And now even within SpaceX, there are rising questions on, is the approach correct? One other thing, by the way, is that they built the rocket on the launch site, also something that the engineers highly questioned, but management was against it. To this day, SpaceX did not officially comment why they did that, but it now led to the only rocket, the only spaceship they actually had visible, being transported to a more or less unofficial graveyard for old rockets SpaceX doesn't use anymore. So it looks like this one rocket is now out of service.
That would have been like my next point if I really got that right, that they, next to the launch site being, what's the word, having all those climate situations. Oh my God, I'm so out of words. Happening outside. Because if you build a rocket, like parts of it, it's so crucial that most of the assembly happens in a clean room, and there's so many rules and regulations to make sure that no particles that shouldn't be there get just in the near the rocket and anything. So that they really do that, it blows my mind, because it's it's a no-brainer that this should not happen. And that I found interesting, because they have years of experience themselves on how to build a freaking rocket, and now with this big one that's that is so crucial also for their next years and the missions they want to fly. Wow, I don't know. That's the surprise.
I think maybe it's just a bet. NASA or the classical space agencies, they are very, very careful with their clean rooms and their processes, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of resources to get anything up to space. If you remember how long we waited for Artemis and the first launch, right? And I could imagine that the drivers of SpaceX, they have very high goals, and they say, we are the first on Mars, we are the first on moons. When NASA is landing on the moon, we are going already building up the Mars base and everything. And maybe it was possible. I don't have experience in building rocket ships, but maybe they thought exactly this way. It's not necessary to be that particularly careful with everything. We can just build a rocket on the beach or something, and then it will still fly. They were very creative with the materials that they used for their rocket ship, right? And they are creative with their fuel and everything. And so it could already also have been successful, and they might be able to build one rocket ship per week by just assembling everything on the beach or something like that. Having mushrooms in the tanks, maybe they said, yeah, doesn't matter, it will still fly. And if that were the case, they would have revolutionized all of the space technology, rocket assembly line technologies, right? Like Ford was with the assembly lines for the cars. Before that, it was very, very different. Yeah. But obviously, it does not work.
Yeah, I'm totally with you, because it would have revolutionized it, and you would be so much faster, definitely. And I mean, I don't know if I mentioned that when we talked about the ESA aerospace visit, or I'm not on record or in private, I don't know. But I was also surprised because they also not do everything in the clean room that I remember were done in the clean room in other space companies that I know. And so yeah, you probably can save time and do not have to be that strict in different processes steps. But yeah, but this is probably they just tried just the other extreme, and now have to realize that this is also not the way to go.
Yeah. It would be very sad to see SpaceX failing, because they really drove up the hope in the past years that we are going to see a Mars base in our lifetimes. And I never thought that I would see that. But yeah, right now, Elon Musk does not really give us, or at least for me, give me confidence that all the predictions that he's throwing around are really realistic. Yeah.
I don't think that failing is the right word. Right now, of course, this could be. Also, the article mentioned something that a fun fact, more or less, that I was very surprised. I didn't know that SpaceX is the highest evaluated US startup. Didn't know that. It is incredibly high evaluated. But I'm sure that the startup in that term is a very important factor. So they have government contracts. This is what I wanted to say. So they are very highly evaluated. There is going to be a lot of money coming in. Also, they are a governmental, more or less funded organization, because right now, also they sell, of course, they already sold tickets to the moon as a tourist trip. That has to be postponed as well, I'm sure. But what I want to say is, I don't think we're going to see them fail, but I think we will see that not everything can be done in exactly the way that you described, Tarek. There are reasons why it is quite close to double the price of NASA. The price of NASA is double the price of SpaceX sometimes, looking on what you want to bring into space. There are reasons for that. And I think depending on what you want to do, these markups are there for a reason. And I think you're right, it's a bet. And we definitely see that this has a setback. SpaceX just raised a new round of more billions, so I don't worry about that very much. But we see that this Elon Musk approach, maybe it's just a bad start for Elon this year, is not working very well when it comes to specific challenges. And spaceship might just be one of those challenges right now.
I think it's interesting that it's still evaluated as a startup. Like, I mean, I just had a quick Google because I was wondering, like, how long are you considered a startup? And I don't know. It's just like the first result I got, like, if you're 3 to 5 years old. And I mean, SpaceX is obviously older than that. So
true.
That alone is quite interesting, because I myself also wouldn't think of them as a startup anymore. Yeah, but I don't know.
As far as I understand, startups have to go through different rounds of investment and are evaluated in specific steps also when it comes to shareholder involvement and stuff like that. Maybe it is a technical term due to them not IPOing, maybe through them still being in a specific round where they can go and raise new rounds of money. I think this is the reason, not time, because of course they are not. I mean, there are government contract startup. They have a product that brings people into space. They moved already their offices once and built their own headquarter. They now have two very own built headquarters and a launching site and a factory for rockets. Definitely, they are not a startup in the traditional term.
Yeah, but Elon Musk stays true. Every week a new headline from one of his companies.
Continues to amaze.
Right. Even though I would wish to read more positive headlines again. There was a time where everything from Elon Musk was just exciting, and right now it's mostly weird.
Yeah, but why would I wonder why you are saying you would like to hear more positive stuff from him? Because I think the recent past months have shown that this Elon phenomenon is again a phenomenon with a regular person with his regular limitations. And to be frank, when we look at the recent developments, I wouldn't even call him a very good. I would say he has a lot of flaws, and therefore maybe it is quite deserved now that he's getting a lot of those negative headlines, because the hype around him maybe was just not worth it.
And nobody is safe from the cancel culture. That, it's okay to have flaws, and he's also just human as the AI bot and us, and it's going up and down. This is just the way it is. So why should it be different with him?
The thing is, the hype always made him look like he's not one of us, but he is someone who just snips his finger and makes it true that in 1 decade we can start colonizing Mars. And this was a very pleasant thought. I really liked this image of Elon Musk, and you're right. I mean, he's only human, but we all wanted him to be more than just human. He was supposed to be like...
Yeah, but I mean, let's not give up on that hope, It's still, it's a vision, and it's still something that can be, it's a completely out of reach. Let's put it that way. So let's see.
Right, so let's finish this episode on a positive note. But thank you so much for your articles, and it was again great review of the past week. And see you next week at the same time, not with the same content, with the latest news from the world of technology. See you then. Bye.